How's it going? We got another episode of Survival Guide to Life, and today's episode is meditation. We have the author of the book, The Power Within You, Anurag Rai. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, so hello everyone. My name is Anurag. I'm founder of Superhuman in You. It's a company which gives education on self help and meditation techniques. I recently wrote a book which is called The Power Within. And the reason why I wrote this book is because I've been practicing meditation for over 10 years now. But
Oh,
I,
you've been wait, really quick. You've been practicing meditation for 10 years, huh?
yeah.
Okay.
So the- since I've been, but I've only been getting the real benefits from last couple of years, and the reason for that was because the I believe the practices which we do for meditation in today's world is they are not designed for our world, the kind of world we live in, as in we are surrounded by technology and our cell phones, and everywhere around us is full of distractions. We
So,
practice. Sorry.
uh, is that something that's like kind of blocking our, hindering from spiritual growth? Is like all this technological advances?
Yes, it is. The reason the reason why I wrote the book is because most people fail to meditate because they're practicing these old techniques which are not designed for today's world. These techniques were designed for the monks, by the monks, to practice on mountains. The problem is we don't live in mountains anymore. We live in a society where we have cell phones beeping, we have kids to look after, we have jobs to do, and that's why we need a more advanced technique, a more adapted technique to today's world. So the book is about taking those ancient practices, the ancient wisdom, and tweaking it to be more adaptable to today's world.
Okay. So, how did you go about in like tweaking it and fine tuning it for today's world?
So I have taken, so I've extracted the core wisdom and I've taken the core techniques, but I have taken away all the unnecessary jargon and any of the things. So for example, I'll give you an example. Most people, what they do is when they want to go for meditation, they think that they need to get rid of their thoughts. While getting rid of thoughts is one of the goals for meditation, but if you go on your first day with an intention that you're going to sit on a mat and give your mind a command to stop thinking, it's not going to work. It's like sending a 4-year child for a doctorate degree. So what we need to do is, I practice different kind of techniques myself, and what I found was the initial stage. There's different stages of meditation, and you cannot, because of the kind of society we live in, we first need to understand the mind, be friends with it, and then try to manage it rather than try to control it. So the book is mainly about trying to bring techniques from different spiritual gurus or ancient philosophers, and
Yeah.
trying to take the good bits from there and trying to take the bits which are more practical in today's society, and then some of my experiences combined together.
Okay, so like say if we just got like, beginners who are listening who've, never went into meditation, like let's start off like how would you define like meditation?
So I would define meditation as a practice which uh, which you can use to cancel the noise around you so that you can hear more clearly and you can feel more clearly and you can, like, you're more awake rather than, because what happens today is we most of the times we are operating on autopilot. We don't even know what we're doing, and because of that we're using a lot of energy and you're wasting a lot of energy on things which we should not be doing, like constantly think, like mental chatter and things like that. So that's my definition. A simple definition of meditation is it's a technique to cancel the noise and make you more awake so that you can access the potentials you have within you.
So to you say to access the potentials in you, so that means like how can meditation make my life better?
So, so the problem with today's world is, as I was saying before, that we are like zombies on autopilot. So we most of us live our whole life without ever being awake. We live in a society where our technology is growing faster than our consciousness, and I feel that's dangerous. uh, our machines can outperform us in most tasks. So there's a thing about IQ and EQ. So IQ is what you know, and EQ is who you are. So we are becoming less and less, like, we are losing our emotional intelligence, but we are trying to increase our grades, increase our knowledge. But in the machine age, knowledge is not important. What we The edge we have over machines is the consciousness, the creativity, the emotional intelligence, all that kind of things. So once you practice meditation, you get to tap into your intuition, your creativity, and that's going to help slowly to increase your performance, productivity, and all that kind of stuff. The other thing which especially beginners will feel instantly is stress relief and better sleep.
Stress relief and better sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now, with what you said, I agree. I think like we've made all these technological advances and like came like so far like in all these like inventions and stuff, but like you said, we've like kind of like devolved and like there's like no one's really focusing on the spirituality. So will meditation increase my sensory perception?
absolutely. So I like to call it intuition or sixth sense.
Hmm.
We all have intuition, but some of us can access it more naturally than others. So intuition is, you can think of it as a voice of your subconscious mind. The problem is when there is too much mental chatter going on in the brain, you cannot hear that voice clearly. And practicing meditation helps to cut the noise so that the quieter you become, the more you can hear.
The quieter to become you, the more you can hear. Okay, I like that. So is there a link between meditation and creativity and intelligence?
Yeah. So I would like to think of both of them as two separate things. So meditation can help you with both things. So it can help you to be more creative and to be more intelligent. So let's talk about creativity first. So being creative requires working on a clean slate, that is working with an empty mind, considering all possible situations. Because you cannot be creative if you already have made up your mind, okay, that this is wrong or that is right. And this working on a clean slate or working from an empty mind comes naturally to people who meditate, because their practice allows them to clear their mind and start fresh. Another thing is that research has shown that meditators can increase alpha wave activity and stimulate neurocortex, a part of the brain which is responsible for creativity.
Okay, I did not know that.
And when coming to intelligence, I like to define intelligence as one's ability to store and use information effectively. And research shows that practicing just 10 minutes of meditation a day can improve concentration and working memory.
So that's proven.
Yeah,
I've had people ask me this. They're like, do I have to be like? Isn't meditation only for Buddhists, or is it like why is that connotation there? Why do people think that you have to be Buddhist to meditate? You don't, right? That's not true.
no, it's not, definitely. I don't think meditation, you have to be Buddhist. So there's traditions, few ancient techniques. So the Vedas also talks, which is like a Hinduism. They also talk about meditation um, in ancient India. Then, if you take, for example, Sufis, they used to practice meditation.
Hmm.
So basically, all religions have talked about this. Like, so if you
Yeah.
go and look into the ancient wisdom, they have all talked about quietening your mind, being connected to the superpower, and
No,
it's all
yeah.
in one way or the other. Meditation. So you do not have to follow a spirit specific religion to be a meditator. And I would like to go as far as, like, you do not even need to be spiritual to practice meditation.
Oh,
You cannot believe, like, if a person does not believe in God, they don't have to believe in God, as long as you believe that there is some power. Because at some level, each one of us believe that there is some power who's managing everything. It cannot be possible that every day sun rises in without some power managing it. So you do not have to be spiritual in order to get the benefits from meditation, because it's more scientific now. There's lots and lots of research in the last few decades which shows the positive impacts meditation brings to our body. It shows the kind of healing benefits it brings. This research in which people have cured diseases like cancer while practicing energy healing techniques.
okay. So,
Yeah.
now, is there, so to say, like a proper or like a method of breathing you're supposed to do, like while you're meditating?
Yes, so I feel breathing is really important. In the ancient yogic literature, they have given a lot of importance on breathing. That's why when you practice any yoga techniques, it's all about the breathing. And the reason that is because it connects your breathing is a connection between your body and mind. So when you're conscious about your breathing, you can see that your body responds whenever you breathe, as well as your you can feel it in your mind as well. So that is the best way to get your attention inside you. And I also feel that breathing is, think about it as if, like, it's a mechanism designed to keep our body healthy and functioning properly. Because if we only focused on breathing, most of the problems, be it stress or our immune system or any other problems in our body, can be fixed just by breathing properly. There's a guy called Wim Hof. I don't know if you're aware of him, but all
No. What
his,
was it? Wim Hof?
yeah,
Okay.
so all his techniques are based only on breathing. So he has like he he has broken various world records, like going on Himalayas without wearing any clothes, and like he can do incredible things. And the only thing he says is he manages his breathing.
Hmm. Now, what's mindfulness meditation?
So mindfulness is basically being mindful of anything you're doing. It does not have to be. So for I think of mindfulness meditation is not something where you sit on a mat and do it for 10 minutes and that's it, it's over. I think it is more like a lifestyle. So when you practicing mindfulness, you can do it while you're walking on the road. Just observe what's the temperature of the air. Are there any rocks under your shoes? Just being aware of your surrounding, just being present in the moment. That's what mindfulness is. And just by doing that, you do not even need to, like, actually literally sit on a mat and practice meditation. If you only did that, if you think that you're so busy that you cannot even find 10 minutes in a day to practice on a mat, start by doing mindfulness. Be mindful of everything you're doing. Something which I like to do is every morning I would brush my teeth using my left hand, and that just brings your attention. Because things which you're used to. For example, I'm used to working brushing my teeth with my right hand, so it's automatic that you will go on autopilot while you're brushing. You'll start thinking things, but when you start doing something new, your attention comes to it, and you become more present.
So, now times like, how do you stop like thoughts like coming while you're trying to meditate?
Okay, so that's a good question, and I think that's the problem which most people face. So first, we need to start with this. As I was saying earlier, in order to be a good meditator, you do not need to stop your thoughts. So that's one of the biggest things about meditation people have, that they need to get rid of thoughts. The Turiya state, Sufis call it Turiya, uh, or thoughtless awareness, was achieved by monks who lived in mountains and practiced meditation for years. And it'd be naive to ask your brain to stop thinking on the first day of meditation. So let me do an experiment with you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give you next 5 seconds to close your eyes and think of a white polar bear. Okay, now you can open your eyes. Now I want you to close your eyes again for the next 5 seconds, but this time you can think of anything but not the white polar bear. Okay, go. Okay, open your eyes. Did you think of the white polar bear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what happens. When you try and control the mind to not think, it thinks more. Uh, so it's because it's designed to think. So our brain was designed for survival. So it's constantly need to think, be active, and that's why you cannot control the brain. A good way to start meditation, I believe, is to observe your brain, get to know it first. So there's few techniques which we can use. So whenever whenever you're sitting in meditation or whenever you're observing your thoughts, you'd notice that a thought comes and then another thought comes. So you see, there was a pause between two thoughts.
Hmm.
The aim is to increase this pause. So as you meditate and practice it, the pause becomes longer. So I'll talk about three techniques. So the first one is, when you're sitting quietly, ask yourself, what am I going to think next? And then wait for that next thought. As soon as you ask yourself, what am I going to think next? You become more aware. And when awareness comes in, your thought disappear. So like it in start, it will just be like for maybe few seconds before the thought comes in. Whenever you ask yourself, what am I going to think next? And you wait for the thought, there'll always be a pause. But slowly, this pause will start becoming longer. You can do this, like, this does not have to be when you're sitting and doing a meditation. You can do it like during the day, anytime. Just take a break and ask, what am I going to think next?
So what time, like what time, not what time, what technique is that called?
So I just like to call it, what am I going to think next?
Okay. Now what would be the next one?
So the next one is, you can think about thoughts as if so when we try and understand thoughts, what is thoughts? Thoughts is basically we trying to talk to ourselves, right? So when we're
Hmm.
trying to talk to each other, for example, I'm talking to you, I can stop talking, yeah, whenever I choose to, for example. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we just need to understand and apply the same concept in our brain. So in order to stop thinking, try stop talking to yourself. And
Now
that,
that's like kind of a little hard to like put my like wrap a head around, you know?
yeah. Yeah, but I find it more useful than trying to say that, okay, I'm going to stop thinking. And if you change that process and say, I'm going to stop talking, because we have this belief in our subconscious mind that we have control over our talk, but we don't have control over our thoughts. So it's just trying to trick our brain for a little while. That
So
um
okay, I guess it's like a little hack, kind of,
yeah.
so to say. Now, what would be the third way?
So the third way is basically designed mainly when you are sitting and practicing meditation. So I took this technique from a concept called neti neti.
Can you say it
So
again? What was that concept?
neti neti,
Nati Nati.
yeah.
Okay.
So this is from Vedas, which is like one of the most ancient scriptures ever written on earth. So neti neti basically means that it was rishis or yogis in ancient India. They used to believe that in order to understand the superpower or the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, in order to understand that, you first need to understand what it is not. So neti neti translates in English as neither this nor that.
I did this, no that. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, they used neti neti to say that, to practice as in like nothing is the superpower. So it's neither this nor that. It's something which is nothing kind of concept. But I took that concept and created a meditation technique, which I also call neti neti. So to practice this technique, sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Someone just had a question. I was just trying to see what they were trying to. All right, so sorry about that. Can you continue? Nati Nati, neither this nor that.
Yeah. So when you're meditating, every time a thought comes, just say, not this, and discard that thought. So you sit down, close your eyes, observe those thoughts, and every time a thought pops up, do not make any judgment. Just say, not this, and discard it.
Okay. Um. Now, would you? How often do you meditate?
So I meditate about 10 minutes in morning and 10 minutes just before going to bed, and about half an hour over the weekends. But Monday to Friday, I would do like 10 minutes in the morning. Ideally, half an hour. Um, Within half an hour, I woke up, because when you are awake, your mind is still in the alpha state, and it is better to meditate in that time. Like within half an hour, you wake up.
Okay. So half an hour when you wake up. Yeah, so like I've looked into a lot of people who, like have very like powerful or impactful mornings, and like all of them have meditation in their morning. Like that's the way they start.
Definitely. So just to make it clear as well, so the meditation itself is not half an hour, but you practice it within the half an hour. So the meditation I do is just 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, so not for a half an hour. Within the first half hour you wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think like meditation could like be used or like help, say, like people who are in like a 12-step eight, like Alcohol Anonymous, or like like a rehab? Do you think that meditation can benefit those types of people?
Definitely. Yeah. So what meditation does is it brings you, like, it gives you more control your on your mind, on your brain, and yourself basically. And it when you're practicing meditation, you practice to be within you, and when you're within you, you get the power to do more things. Now, what happens is, whenever anybody who's addicted to something, they try to leave it, they try to use willpower against it.
Hmm.
No, just now we were talking about that the mind works in a way that when you try to control it, it it kind of tries to resist. So when you practice meditation, it becomes more natural for the brain to not resist and be more in the flow. Another thing, if you look at from science perspective, normally most of the things which, like most of the addictions, they normally work on the brain as increasing the dopamine. So they give a sudden rush of dopamine, making you feel more happy. What meditation does is it's a side effect free technique which increases the serotonin in the brain,
Hmm.
and that is even more powerful than dopamine. So basically, once you get into meditation and once you start enjoying it, you will get the pleasure, which is much higher level of the brain.
Okay, so
Yeah.
to go on that, you, it would rather be better than like like say me meditating say 2 minutes every day would be more beneficial than say like me one day meditating for 2 hours and then not meditating for like a week and then doing it for 20 minutes. Like, do you think I should like someone should like try to go into it as much as they can, or just small consistent and like just slowly build up?
Yeah, definitely. I think you're absolutely right. So consistency is more important. So meditation is like, see if you're climbing a step. If you're climbing, no matter how small step you take, if you're climbing a step, uh, if you keep on climbing, you will keep on getting better and better and better. But if you only climb, like for example, one day you jump and the other day you didn't, then what you're doing is basically you're going ahead, but then coming back to that place. So you're just jumping 2 hours every day instead of like a consistency. You're not building up upon uh, your progress.
Oh, so do you want to just touch a little more about your website and like the superhuman in you? What like how did that start and like what gave you the ideas for that?
Okay, so that's a story in itself. So, as I said before, I've been practicing meditation for over 10 years. I had always been, because I've been practicing meditation, I always had that resilience. I, I would not take stress, and I've always been a calm person. And I was, no matter what the situation is, I was able to be happy and content. So, I would never be worried or have any fear in me. Few years, about 4 years before, used to run a restaurant, and due to some problems out of my control, we had a theft and there were different other problems. The restaurant has to close down. No, the restaurant closed down, and there was a time when I did not even have a place to stay because I lost all the money in the business. Now I was sitting there in the storeroom of a restaurant which did not even have electricity connection, because the lights also got cut off. So I was sitting there in the dark and I was thinking, so much is happening around me. Why am I not stressed? I mean, the whole world is falling apart, and I'm still like sitting here as if nothing happened. And then I realized it's because of that technique which I'm using, the meditation. That's why. Then I thought to myself, but like there should be a way to bring this peace, to hack this peace, and increase my influence on the world, on like to use it to make progress in life, because there's other things which I want to do. I just don't want to be like, yes, being happy is the key objective, but I also want to travel the world. I also want to have a nice car. I also want to do other things. So I started reading lots of books, on like related to meditation and other things. And then I came across a book called What a Man Thinketh. Is by James Allen.
What a Man Thinketh by James
Yeah,
Harlan.
James Allen.
Oh, James Allen. What a Man Thinketh, James
Yeah,
Allen. Okay.
yeah. So in that book, James talks about how our thoughts dictate our reality. So everything which happens in our life is in one way or other created by our subconscious mind.
Yeah. Oh no, I literally was just talking about that earlier. Like the law of subconscious. Like um,
Yeah.
whatever we say to ourselves repeatedly in our conscious mind,
Hmm.
after doing so a certain amount of times, only then will our subconscious accept it.
Yes, and there's a reason for that, because subconscious mind is like, it's a supercomputer installed within us. So if we could easily install any programs into it, then our life will be like, it would not be very smooth, because one day we want something else, the other day we want something else. So that's the reason why it's designed to be in certain way, that you have to be clear. So what meditation does is, it helps you make a better connection with your subconscious mind. So instead of having to repeat it again and again, once you become good in your meditation, you have control over your emotions, and you have better connection with your subconscious mind. There's not noise between you and your subconscious mind. And then, instead of having to repeat it again and again, you can just maybe say it once, say it twice, and things change. I have actually personally experienced that in my life. So, coming back to my company, Superhuman and You, after reading that book, I took the knowledge which I had about meditation and tried and linked it to the concepts which were taught in that book, which some people call it law of attraction. Some people, I like to call it bending reality. There's actually a chapter in my book called Bending Reality, where I teach how to use the mind, uh, how to tap into subconscious mind to start changing your life. So that's, I learned so much in the year 2018 itself, that in last year to 2019, I started 4 new businesses while doing a full-time job, and wrote a book. And the reason why I wrote a book, because I knew that there's lots of people out there who do not understand the power of meditation. They just feel that working hard equals results, but it's not that. It's not just working hard. There's more to it.
So with all this, said, like, what would be some, like, key, like, takeaways, or like, um you know you could say, like, so to say, the fundamentals of meditation.
So the fundamentals is, I would say, three things. First is meditate, because some answers are not on Google. So when you can, the only way you can know the benefits of meditation is by doing it. Like, I can write a book, I can talk, but I cannot make you experience. And unless you don't experience, you would not know. And the good thing about meditation is there's no side effects, and it only takes 10 minutes a day. We spend hours scrolling through Facebook in our day. And I'm surprised when some people say that they don't have time for meditation. Gandhi was once found quoting that, today I need to do extra work, so I need to meditate 2 hours instead of half an hour. So it actually makes you more productive, and you'll have more time. Second thing I would say is, don't try and control your mind. So don't try and go, when you're starting your meditation technique, don't go there with an intention to be thoughtless on day one. Just observe your mind. A good practice would be, just sit down there, focus on your breathing, focus on your, while closing your eyes, try and feel what's around you, try and be inside your body. No, there's other number of techniques which I talk about. I also write blogs, which you can go on my website. So you can buy the book if you want. It's available on Amazon. Or if you want to go on my website, there's lots of free content there as well, which is called superhumaninu.com.
Okay, so your website is superhumaninu.com.
Yeah.
com. If
Yes.
you want a more in-depth, like, how to, they can go on that. And then, where did they say they could purchase your book? On Amazon?
Amazon. Yeah. So it's called The Power Within, and they just search The Power Within by Anurag, my name, and it should come up. I'll send you a link as well if you want to put it in.
Yeah, I'm gonna put
For
it
that.
in the bio.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. And the last point, which I was going to say, is that when you're starting your meditation, this is for your viewers who have not meditated before or who have tried meditation and then given up. Don't go there with a mind that you're going to meditate for 2 days and your life's going to change. No, it's not going to work like that. If you go there with that expectation, what happens is you get disappointed and then you leave in a week's time. What is going to happen is when you meditate, your brain changes, the way your body and mind interacts changes, a better connection with your subconscious mind is made, your spirit grows, and together all these things will change your life. But it's a process. It will not happen overnight. So give it time. Maybe do it for 2-3 weeks. You might notice the stress relief side and the better sleep side. You will notice just by practicing 2-3 days, but your life will only start changing after 3-4 weeks of regular meditation.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again. I'm currently reading your book, and I'm gonna recommend everyone to read it. Who's trying to get into the studies of meditation and how to benefit from it. One last time, do you want to say what your book is and drop your social handles, like just say your social media?
Yeah, so the book is called The Power Within, and by my name, Anurag Rai. My website is superhumaninu.com, and you can find me on Facebook. I've got a page for my name, Anurag Rai, and I've also got a page for Superhuman in You. So you can just search on Facebook, Superhuman in You, it should come up.
Okay. Superhuman in you. All right. Now we'll get everyone to get that super.
While closing your eyes, try and feel what's around you. Try and be inside your body. No, there's other number of techniques which I talk about. I also write blogs which you can go on my website, so you can buy the book if you.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode on Survival Guide to Life.